Naomi Osaka's name has always carried weight on the hard courts of America, and over the last 2 weeks she reminded the tennis world exactly why. The former world number one, once thought to be struggling to rediscover her form, arrived at the US Open as a question mark. Many wondered whether she still had the fire, the rhythm, and the championship instincts that had carried her to 2 titles in New York. After all, her 2024 season up until this point had been far from ideal. She had faltered badly at Roland Garros, falling at the earliest stage when expectations were high. She had gone tournament after tournament without creating much of an impact. To many, she seemed like a player searching for herself. But then came Flushing Meadows, and suddenly the Naomi Osaka that once dominated the sport began to resurface. From the moment she stepped onto the hard courts in Queens, there was a different energy about her. The power in her ground strokes, the precision of her serve, and, most importantly, the calm resolve in her demeanor began to remind fans of her glory days. Match after match, she dismantled opponents who themselves carried impressive resumes. Her run wasn't just about winning, it was about winning convincingly, showing flashes of her old brilliance while adding a maturity that only comes with time and struggle. Her biggest statement came against Coco Gauff, another US Open champion and one of the brightest stars of American tennis. Osaka played with composure and controlled aggression, refusing to allow Gauff's energy and athleticism to overwhelm her. It was a battle of wills, and Osaka emerged as the clear victor. That match served notice that her run was no fluke. She was not simply riding momentum but actually rediscovering her champion's form. With that victory, she booked her spot in a US Open semi-final for the third time in her career, but even in triumph, Osaka was not fully satisfied. Ahead of her next clash, she shared a candid and rather striking admission. While most players in her position would have spoken with pride about their resurgence, Osaka took a different path. "I don't know if I'm pleased with my play so far in this tournament," she said honestly. "I'm pleased with my attitude." It was a revealing comment, one that suggested that although she had shown the world she could compete again, in her own eyes, her game had not yet reached its peak. She believed there was another level still untapped, a level that perhaps she would need against her semi-final opponent, Amanda Anisimova. Anisimova, a young American talent with enormous potential, had been building momentum quietly in the background. She had not been among the pre-tournament favorites, but match by match, she fought her way deep into the draw, becoming the last American woman standing. The stage was set for a captivating showdown. Osaka, the two-time champion with redemption on her mind, versus Anisimova, the rising star carrying the hopes of the home crowd. Arthur Ashe Stadium was packed on that fateful night. The atmosphere was electric, with thousands of fans buzzing with anticipation. Among them, one figure stood out, Venus Williams. The 7-time Grand Slam champion, herself eliminated from this year's competition in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles, still chose to be courtside. She was there not for herself but to support her compatriot, Amanda Anisimova. Her presence added an extra layer of drama to the evening. Williams, at 45 years old, remains a legend and an icon of American tennis, and seeing her in the stands openly encouraging Anisimova seemed to lift the young player's spirits. From the very start, Osaka came out swinging. She looked sharp, composed, and eager to seize control. Her serves thundered down with accuracy, her forehands painted the corners, and her movement looked lighter than it had in months. She grabbed the first set, and it seemed for a moment as though this would be her night. Anisimova was on the ropes, and many in the crowd feared that the young American would not be able to withstand the barrage, but tennis is never so simple. With Venus cheering her on and the New York crowd urging her to dig deeper, Anisimova refused to fold. She clawed her way into rallies, began finding her range, and started striking her own winners. What made the turnaround remarkable was not just her shot-making but her resilience. Despite being a set down, she didn't allow doubt to creep in. Slowly but surely, she began to turn the tide. The second set became a battle of nerves. Both players were throwing everything they had into every point, neither willing to concede ground. Games stretched long, deuces piled up, and the tension was palpable. Each time Osaka seemed on the verge of breaking through, Anisimova answered with a bold winner or a clutch serve. The crowd roared with every American point. their energy feeding into Anisimova's determination. Eventually, it all came down to a tiebreak, the kind of moment that defines careers and creates legends. Anisimova, driven by adrenaline and belief, held her nerve. She edged Osaka in the breaker, leveling the match at 1 set apiece. Suddenly, everything had changed. What had once seemed like Osaka's march toward another final now looked like a struggle for survival. The third set began with intensity right from the start, with both players trading early breaks. Osaka tried to regain control, but the longer the match went, the more Anisimova's confidence grew. She began dictating rallies with fearless ground strokes, moving Osaka from side to side, and forcing errors. The clock ticked past 2 hours, then 2.5. The match had turned into a marathon, testing not only physical stamina but also mental endurance. Osaka, though fighting valiantly, began to show signs of frustration. A missed opportunity here, a loose error there, and the momentum shifted decisively toward Anisimova. By the final games, the American had taken full command. With Venus Williams on her feet and the stadium erupting, Anisimova closed out the contest. The final score told the story of a grueling battle: 6-7, 7-6, 6-3 in favor of Amanda Anisimova. For Osaka, it was a bitter end to what had otherwise been a redemptive fortnight. She had rediscovered her fighting spirit, thrilled fans with flashes of her former greatness, and proven that she still belongs among the elite. But on this night, in front of a home crowd hungry for an American triumph, she had been outlasted. For Anisimova, it was the biggest win of her career. To defeat a two-time U.S. Open champion on the sport's grandest stage, and to do it after dropping the first set, spoke volumes about her heart and her potential. She had not only carried the hopes of American tennis but had also delivered on them, earning her place in the final and writing her own unforgettable chapter at Flushing Meadows. As she celebrated with tears in her eyes and a smile on her face, Venus Williams applauded proudly from the stands. It was a passing of the torch moment of sorts, a legend encouraging the next generation, a symbol of continuity in American tennis. And for Naomi Osaka, while the loss stung, her words from before the match lingered in the minds of those who had followed her journey: "I'm pleased with my attitude." She may not have left with the trophy this time, but she had shown resilience, grace, and a willingness to keep striving. For a player who has already achieved so much and faced so many challenges, that mindset might prove to be her greatest strength going forward. In the end, this semi-final clash was not just about winners and losers. It was about the beauty of competition, the unpredictability of sport, and the way tennis can capture the human spirit in its rawest form. For 3 hours, fans were treated to a story of redemption, resistance, and renewal. And though Amanda Anisimova emerged victorious, Naomi Osaka's journey was far from over. Her best, as she herself admitted, may still be to come.